This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Jeff, let's talk more about, how we're getting here.
No, let's talk about the four caballeros that you called me a liar on.
Well, you are. You're known liar. On April 10th, it's in the torch that there's a lot of talk of sports, Fox Sports Net, and it's reference to Rob Feinstein and Ring of Honor. For those who don't know, Feinstein used to be part owner of Ring of Honor. I guess he originally founded the thing for his tape trading outfit. And unfortunately, he made a news report where allegedly they had set him up for an inappropriate meeting, and it did not go well. So it wreaked havoc on the Ring of Honor promotion with their, consumer confidence or what have you. And there's a whole bunch of controversy there now. And apparently Fox Sports Net knows something of it. And maybe once upon a time, they had talent who was working for both Ring of Honor and TNA. So here's what's written in the torch. After TNA attempted to give wrestlers who also work for ROH an ultimatum to choose between the two promotions, Ring of Honor and the booker Gabe Sapolsky flew to Nashville last week to talk through some issues with TNA officials. TNA officials had been asking wrestlers who work for them as well as ROH to start turning down ROH bookings, primarily because TNA feared Fox Sports Net wouldn't be pleased if TNA wrestlers were also associated with Ring of Honor, given the Rob Feinstein scandal. It's a situation that rival promoters, bigger or smaller, could have tried to use to hurt TNA. TNA officials wanted written proof that Feinstein was no longer associated with the company in any way, so that if the issues were brought back up by FSN, they could provide evidence that they took the steps to be sure Feinstein wasn't associated with ROH anymore. Sapolsky discussed the matter with Jeff Jarrett and Bob Ryder last Wednesday. All indications are that a meeting was an agreement was reached that will allow wrestlers to work for both ROH and TNA based on TNA feeling satisfied that Ring of Honor is no longer associated with Feinstein. So listen, I didn't anticipate when we first had this conversation of, hey man, let's do Fox Sports Net. We'd be talking about this, but here we are. What do you remember of this meeting with Gabe? What the concerns were? What you were trying to accomplish, the whole deal?
And see, this is where I don't recall. I recall the Feinstein incident in every shape, form, or fashion, but combining the two with the Gabe meeting, I don't recall that at all. I'll tell you what I couldn't remember where me and Gabe were sitting in my little office at the asylum, and why that we were there is that if we're going on TV, and there was, again, I just mentioned, we were 1 day a week, but we were investing, I'll say more specifically, the Carters were investing a lot of capital. And of course, blood, sweat, and tears from a lot of folks into this brand. And if we didn't have priority over the talent,
another independent,
then we were kind of putting ourselves out there. And so it wasn't that, hey, you can't go work for Ring of Honor, because we were only offering 1 day a week. But with that being said, I know Bill Behrens was involved, and I know Bob Ryder was involved. I'll say they were on the TNA side of maybe doing the due diligence on the Feinstein deal and what happened in the shape, form, or fashion, and maybe giving not only myself, but my father and Dixie, and maybe even the Dallas office, like, okay, here's the real reality of this. This incident happened with Rob. This went down. He's no longer involved, or this
help me understand. We're bouncing around real fast here. Dallas wanted to make sure Feinstein was out.
I don't know that Dallas was even aware enough to know, does he or need to be in or out? But I think Bob Ryder and Bill Behrens were doing their due diligence so they could say, here's the story with what's going on with the Feinstein incident.
So was anybody asked? I'm just wondering, because there's a lot written in the torch here as if you guys were concerned that, or maybe Fox had brought it to you, but you're saying you don't remember it happening that way. But then you pivoted and said, well, there were guys doing research on it. And I'm just wondering why.
My recall was Gabe in the priority of bookings. That was what our one-on-one meeting was about. I wanted to make sure AJ, Chris Daniels, there was a list of guys that, as far as a per booking date, they were probably working for Ring of Honor more dates but we had the outlet of pay-per-view going to TV.
Right.
And I'm like, where do we sit here? Where are we going with that? But the Feinstein incident, I'm sure, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm sure either Bob took it on himself or Bill Behrens took it on himself to say, hey, we know what happened. We need to do some due diligence. We're going to report back to the Jarretts and the Carters, kind of the lay of the land. And so how that ended up in, Wade's headline, it's probably a much juicier headline, but I don't remember that being a part of, I'll call it a Fox Sports.
You don't believe Fox Sports knew anything about it? You think this is just the guys?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And not at all.
Do you remember having a conversation with Gabe or anyone, you personally, saying, hey, if we're going to let our guys work on that show, he can't work there?
No. Never. Me and Gabe, I can't say that we didn't. He could probably answer, but I don't remember even discussing the incident. I do remember saying, Gabe, I can't look at my financial partners and say, hey, yeah, we've got AJ Styles, but kind of.
Yeah.
They're not going to, they're going to say, no, we don't want AJ, or if we're investing a boatload of money, and Jeff, you're investing your career and time, and
we got to have some talent commitments.
That's it. It was that simple.
So
let me back up on that too, or just add to that. When we were a Wednesday night show, Ring of Honor was weekends.
That's right.
There wasn't really any conflict. It was, let's be real clear that, Gabe, we want our guys working everywhere, but they have to have their priorities to us. And we have to have that in writing. Because if we do go to Fox Sports and some of these guys are signing maybe a 2-year deal at the time, like, we're going to get on Fox Sports and then where we're going, but then we really don't have them. Because that is, at the end of the day, the only value that a wrestling company has is the contracts.
How was Gabe to deal with?
Easy. I mean, super easy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.